It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we have another video suggested by one of you guys in the Discord community, or in this case, a few of you guys. So shout out to Zushi. I think there's a few more of you guys that also suggested this video from Mint Skull. So shout out to Cozy, shout out to DJ Alex 1111, Unworldly Line 47 as well for suggesting this video. Now this one, obviously, like I said, is from Mint Skull, who's covering the recent sort of PTB / anniversary chapter, and it's titled "Jason did not fix the staleness of DVD Semi Rant." I'm just going to be covering a couple of talking points, not the full video, obviously. And we're going to start off with the sort of bad anniversary chapter. Let's listen to it.
Don't connect to the power like I did. What else is there for you in this anniversary patch? This is the reason why I took so long to make this video and why I made it in a rant style instead. Because the answer to that question is nothing, which is extremely disappointing for what is the 10th anniversary of Dead by Daylight. Dare I say, the worst anniversary chapter we ever got, which is a big deal considering this is supposed to be the biggest. Go ahead and compare it for yourself. In every single anniversary chapter except the 3rd year, we had complete chapters on our hands. A killer, a survivor, sometimes two, and most importantly, a map. And that combo is the only way I feel a complete and juicy chapter in our hands. Silent Hill, Resident Evil, and even Dungeons and Dragons with the reused map felt like true chapters that represented the licenses in a great way and gave all players something new to try out.
You know, Mint Skull is 100% correct about that. Like by a long shot, actually. I'm pretty sure that Jason is not coming with a map. He's not coming with anything new or fresh or interesting besides the character. And I'm assuming just some new survivor perks, which I'm not sure if that includes like a new survivor character. I haven't heard anything about it. I haven't seen anything about it. But I know that they come with perks. So the fact is that, of course, like, you know, killer players, we get a new character to try who'll most likely get nerfed in about a week. But regardless, if you're not interested in this character, you're not interested in playing Jason, or you're not a Jason fan, I won't say Friday the 13th because it's not necessarily Friday the 13th, I guess. Then you pretty much, according to like what Mint Skull's saying and what I'm saying, is like you have nothing for you. Like there's nothing unique or fresh for you as a player, which could be the majority, because I know a lot of people who are on DVD are probably not even horror fans, it seems like, for my interpretation. And the reason I say that is, one, a lot of people who, well, I can't even say a lot, that might be too general, but a lot, I would say in my experience encountering different like creators or streamers or people, like they just aren't really fans of a lot of the horror stuff in the game, whether it be like the horror movies, or like they won't know anything, or they'll just think that the ghost face in the game is from Scream when it's not, stuff like that. And it's like the fact that they don't basically nothing about horror, I kind of sit there and I'm like, why are you playing this game? Like, it's supposed to be a horror game, but I forgot that that idea died a long time ago. Let's continue.
With specifically Resident Evil being to this day the biggest chapter ever, with an insane complete map, 2 new iconic survivors, and nemesis. The FNAF anniversary was kinda lacking as we didn't get any survivors either, but that
I do agree with that, actually. That does make sense. I do agree with that, because Resident Evil, I think, was probably one of the best chapters, at least from my perspective, because it brought so much uniqueness to it. Like, it brought a super iconic character, which arguably needs to be reworked because he's ass, but regardless, in terms of just like visuals, most iconic character coming as playable from Resident Evil 3. You have the 2 protagonists from Resident Evil 2 and 3. It's iconic as hell. So you already got that going. Then you get RPD on top of that as a map. Like, holy smokes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then the perks that they brought were unique as well. So like you had a lot of stuff that came into that, and then we look at something like FNAF, or we look at something like this chapter we're about to get, it's like, what the heck happened? We don't get anything fresh. Like, there's nothing like interesting for everybody to kind of sink their teeth into. It's just really just not a lot going for it, and I agree with that.
Try to add a new original survivor for this anniversary, as currently in the PTB we have 3 new survivor perks corresponding to someone they didn't want to reveal the ID.
Okay, so my mistake from earlier, I didn't realize that there was a survivor that was included, because I just didn't see any information about it. I guess I'd never, well, I guess it really doesn't really apply to me as a player anyway, because I'm just going to be playing Jason, and probably just him instead of the other side, but regardless, my mistake.
Identity of. However, the devs confirmed that this survivor will come out later and separate from Jason, which is, to be fair, completely understandable, as I am sure the lack of a survivor has something to do with the license aspect of this chapter. Additionally, the developers have the statistics, and they know that licensed survivors are simply not worth to make unless they are hot and iconic like Lara Croft. Because as much as people pretend it doesn't, visual appeal sells, and it's the reason why many of the least played survivors are indeed male ones, like...
There it is. There it is. Minskull called it out right there and then. As much as people that play this game like to pretend as if they're above it all, the numbers speak for themselves. You know what I mean? I think there's a word for that called LARPing. You know, that's your new vocabulary word for the day. Go look it up if you don't know what it means.
Yoichi, Jonah, Gabriel, Alan Wake, Detective Tapp, or Dustin. So Tommy Jarvis would have been cool for some, but he probably would have been barely used like Rick Grimes, Nicolas Cage, or Trevor Belmont. In other words, yet another male.
So for anybody who thought, oh, I want Tommy Jarvis in the game, I want him now, please add Tommy Jarvis, that's your response. Just know fully well that no one will play him because that new Sable skin is gonna outsell him in every time, every way possible. Let's be so for real. I mean, come on.
Survivor that gets new cosmetics once every time the planets align, because nobody buys those cosmetics in the first place. But the thing that truly stings for me is the lack of a new map, as I did fully expect to see Camp Crystal Lake in Dead by Daylight. This setting was made extremely popular as a horror trope.
Now, what I will say though is that I'm not super familiar with the licenses. Like when it comes to Jason Universe, I haven't like kept a full like 2 fingers on the pulse to kind of see what the heck is going on with that. But what I am understanding is that they certainly cannot use any of the original movie Jasons at all. Like they have that, and that's why I like to call it like the Temu Jason, or like the fake Jason, or like the discount Jason, or the legally distinct Jason, whatever name you prefer. I like to call it that because the cosmetics coming with this Jason like are like reference it slightly, but they're legally distinct. So like if you notice one of the cosmetics, they had like a blue, like normally he wears a blue plaid shirt. When you look at the cosmetic, it's a red plaid shirt. So, you know, just to give you an example, so like you gotta think like they're like trying to like make sure they don't like, you know, get sued. So that's why like I understand you know, why the cosmetics like have certain things like the chain around the neck and stuff like that, like just as a reference, but it won't be exact. So that's just because of legal issues, blah blah blah. Now, what I wasn't aware of is like, do they have the license for Crystal Lake, like and Pamela and stuff? Like, did they have Tommy? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was mainly like you don't have access to, like spin-offs and stuff like that. And I wasn't sure, but if they did have the access to the map, then why didn't we get a camp map? And then you could or you don't have to make it Camp Crystal Lake, but like if supposedly Jason lives in Greenville, right? That's where supposedly the lore is where they took him, right? Then why don't we have like a Greenville campsite? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like with a lake. It doesn't have to be called Camp Crystal Lake. Could have been called Camp Greenville or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just so he has a camp to kind of camp around in. You know what I'm saying? To hide in the shadows and all that stuff. At least to me, that would have been the play. I would have, because you know it's not technically Crystal, it's just a campsite. You can't, not gonna copyright that. You know, I'm just saying that, but I don't know.
Thanks to the Friday the 13th films, and having a map with that iconic lake as part of Dead by Daylight filled with references to the movie Kills would have been absolutely awesome.
Which I think would have been legally distinct enough as well, because you obviously can't copyright, like, you know, a sleeping bag or something and stuff like that. I want to jump ahead and look at like the other idea with balance changes.
No new survivors, as they will come out later, and no new map. As disappointing as this sounds, I will still defend Behaviour, not because of the creator program, but because I think positively of them, and I am sure once again that if they could, they would, as there is no reason for them to decide not to make this chapter as big as possible.
I am in the same camp as Minskull in that sense, where I say, you know, I try to give Behaviour as much credit as I possibly could and can, because it's like there are some instances where they cook, but the problem is that those things are outweighed by the negatives. Like, I have to constantly hand it to the art team at Behaviour because they always make stuff look cool as hell, especially when it comes down to licenses and stuff like that. Especially when it comes down to licenses, because like Dracula skins look insanely cool. Chucky skins are always amazing. Who else? The Xenomorph skins are insane. Like Pyramid Head, iconic skins, like absolutely incredible. Like their art team is insane. Like absolutely, like they are incredible. But the balance team is the issue I have. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have any issues with a good majority of Behaviour in that sense. My issue is the balancing. Because getting the licenses, hell yeah, you're good to go. Hey, you're going to probably see a fire license coming every time. The art team knocks it out the park. It's the goddamn balance. Even the maps look cool. You know what I'm saying? Like despite how stupidly Survivors cited that new map that came with Trickster, that new rework with Trickster came out, it looks cool and detailed, and it has all these little like sound effects and things. Ooh, it's all nice. But golly, there's too many freaking palettes. It's so unbalanced, and it's like, golly, like that's the only thing we have a problem with is just a balance team. Because it's like, yo, it's like they got a blindfold on and earplugs when they're talking about these issues. It's like, holy smokes. Like, we're trying to explain it to these people. Like, yo, look, these are the issues with the game. Like, the gen speed is the problem. Do something. Help. Like, fix this game, dude. There's so many bugs and all this overtuned perks. Like, bro, help. Like, do something.
So my only explanation is, once again, that this was all that Jason Universe let them do, as licensed chapters are limited on that aspect, so I cannot put the blame on Behaviour. However,
that is true. Jason Universe, maybe like they don't have a map yet, because I do think that they probably want to release a movie or something, so I think maybe they want to keep stuff under wraps, or maybe they don't have anything ready yet. So, because we don't know what's up with Jason Universe. We don't understand, like, you know, at least I don't know. Me personally, I don't know what the limitations are in that sense. I don't know if they like have stuff like that they want to put out and make it a surprise, and if they release it in the game, it might be like a spoiler for their movie or something. Who knows? Because they probably have a lot of projects they want to put out.
Do you know what the Ghostface anniversary had that this Jason anniversary did not? Balance changes. And what is absolutely inexcusable in my eyes, and what truly disappointed me more than no maps in this chapter, is how we got 0 balance changes for the 4th patch in a row, and this absolutely pisses me off, and I cannot defend them anymore. Having to scroll down in the patch notes of this anniversary chapter and seeing no section for balance changes was extremely disappointing, and I am tired of the current boring and dreadful meta the game has with the overinflated bullshit perks that Survivors had, with zero intention of nerfing them because their statistics show that the perks are performing normally, all because the bad players don't know how to use busted perks like Deliverance or Shoulder the Burden, and thus they reduce the escape rates of these perks. It's the same reason why Nurse has 0 balance changes either, because according to the stats, she is performing below average, thanks to the casuals that play her and don't know how to use her.
Yeah, I gotta say that Minskull's completely cooking right now with that entire explanation. He boils down basically everything I have to say in like a minute, basically. Because that's my issue with the balancing. The fact is that the data will state one thing, but the gameplay states something else. And it's because of the mere fact that players in general, as I keep saying, mostly survivors, but still, killer players too, have a massive skill issue. They are ass at the freaking game. And that's not to like offend people, that's not to cut anybody's cut anybody up with that, but like it's just the idea is that the fact of the matter is players are just not good at the goddamn game, which leads to things not being changed positively because of the fact that they just don't know how to use these things. But the fact of the matter is, in the right hands, Deliverance, Shoulder the Burden, like Decisive, Dead Hard, all are super and strong and are used extremely effectively when an experienced player can use it. And even like Timmy No Thumbs can still figure it out because of how easy it is to use. That's why I look at stuff like Sprint Burst and I say like that's a problem. I look at stuff like Decisive and Dead Hard and Deliverance, Shoulder the Burden, and things like that, especially Deliverance and Shoulder the Burden, as like perks that if you just put in a little more time, a little more brain power, you could pretty much win every game. Because the amount of times that I've gone against players who can use it effectively, destroying all the pressure I had within seconds because of the fact that, number one, I'm not a Blight main, and number two, I'm playing pretty much what B to C tiers, D tier characters, because I actually just want to play my favorite character, my favorite horror movie villain, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting here trying to play Blight all day and Nurse. Like, I actually want to play a cool character and that's fun, but I'm not allowed to because of all the issues in the game. It's like at a certain point it gets exhausting. It's mainly what I'm getting at. And Minskull pretty much boils it down right there and then. He pretty much explains exactly my issues with the game and its community. And I know a lot of people just refuse to want to learn things. I've noticed that even with the content that I've put out. There's a lot of educational content that I've created that like just pretty much like nobody watches. And that's not like necessarily a bad thing for the most part. Because it's like, hey, people don't watch it, who cares? Just don't make that video. But like, the fact is I'm using that as an example to reinforce my point, which is the fact that there's just a lot of people that don't care to learn anything. And that's mainly like my point. Now, obviously, Minskull goes over the perks in the video, as well as something called cross-examination. I think that has to do with a perk, which, I mean, obviously is a gigantic issue. And I'll let you guys watch the video on your own to really get into what Minskull is really talking about. I've already talked about these, like the patch notes in my own video, so you can watch that if you need to. But either way, I'll see you guys in the next one. Consider becoming a member on YouTube or Patreon, or even subbing on Twitch. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, let's go ahead and read off these wonderful members. We got Patreon, Crow Vader. All my YouTube members, Brando, Evil Blade, Cap Courteous, WTF You're Not JLo, Evil Peach, Hargan Falcon, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Jack, Christian, and Crow Vader. Really appreciate you guys supporting, man. And if you also subbed on Twitch, just know that you got love coming your way too. Appreciate you guys, man.